Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia Gogan. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe because it's a good time over here. And before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to Grow with Jo app for sponsoring today's video. So back in the day, I used to have these very strict morning routines. Now, I'm going to leave half of that influence from the OG YouTubers back in the day when they would make those beautiful curated morning routines. Shout out to all those girlies, honestly. I wanted to be them so bad, so I tried to emulate those same types of mornings. But on top of that, I used to be very strict with everything that I did in my life when it came to my routines, my fitness, my health, the way that I perceived myself, to the point though where it was really unhealthy. And because I was always somebody who did things all or nothing and or very strict, my morning routines would never stick, they would never last, and quite frankly, I dreaded them. I never actually really enjoyed them. I never enjoyed them the way that I would see other girls on the internet enjoying them. Of course, it's the internet and things look amazing. Even some of my clips look amazing on the internet. But even people in real life, they would be enjoying their morning routines and I'd be like, that's not mine. And on top of that, I felt like my morning routines lasted so freaking long because I was trying to do absolutely everything. And then I would get into the cycle where I would try a million things, strictly all or nothing. I wouldn't be able to sustain it. I would honestly dread it, and then I would fall off. It's really because I was trying to copy what everyone else is doing, and I was really doing these routines out of a place of punishment, honestly. Until I started to realize that morning routines are supposed to be here to help us. They are supposed to be here to make our days even better. And something I also realized over the years of healing this part of me that was really strict and all or nothing and such a perfectionist was that we are all so unique and we all require different things to help support us on our journeys of having the best day ever. We also really ebb and flow through the seasons of life. If you're a female and you're menstruating, go through different phases of your cycle. Depending on what you have going on in your life, you might have a lot of energy or not so much energy. Like there's so many factors that play a role in us as human beings. So for us to expect that we should have this rigid routine and even have enough time to do a million things is kind of unrealistic. So here's how you can start to create a morning routine that works for you, that you are not dreading, that also sets you up for your day mentally, physically, spiritually. So step one is going to be, you have to commit to having a morning routine, but you want to commit to this morning routine that you're going to have from a place of self-love, a place of support, instead of a place of punishment, of discipline, of you have to do this or you're inherently bad if you don't. And how it is that I'm able to commit and prioritize a morning routine in general is realizing that it's so beneficial to have one regardless of what it is that I do. When you want to achieve something in your life, when you want to have mental clarity, when you want to feel better about your life, it's probably because you've been living your life not having those things or not being in that mental state. So it's important to realize that you're going to have to practice and commit to having something that really sets you up for the day. It's not going to just be overnight and your one morning routine is going to fix your entire life, nor does it need to. But it's to realize like this should be a part of your life the same way that brushing your teeth is, the same way that eating meals every single day is, because this is what's setting you up to have an even better day, to create a life of abundance, to create a life of peace and joy and health. And another mindset reframe that I always like to use when I'm thinking about morning routines is it is out of a place of self-love. This is not out of a place of punishment or discipline. This is simply something that we get to do. We get to have amazing mornings. Now, bringing it back to the point that I made about how we ebb and flow through the seasons of life, depending if you're maybe even a woman and you have a cycle, you have things going on in your life, there are going to be times in your day or week or month where you have different levels of energy. And so what I like to do is create my morning routines based off of the level of energy that I have that day. And this is the thing, sometimes when we wake up in the morning and we feel like we don't have a lot of energy, like literally today I am so completely drained because I'm about to get my period. When we wake up and we feel low energy, we think, okay, well, I can't do the million things on my morning routine list, so I'm just gonna not do anything, and then you end up feeling like crap about yourself. But realistically, if you gave yourself options and you weren't so rigid, you'd be able to continue to get up and take care of yourself, whether that be a lot of things or a few things. Like if you tell yourself that the only workout that you are going to be doing in your like section of your morning routines every single day is a very strict, hard workout, and on the days that you're feeling like you're about to get your period, you have no energy, you're not gonna really be able to do that. And because you only gave yourself one option, you're not gonna do anything. And we don't need to not do anything. There's so many other things that we could be doing to help us to love on ourselves more, but because we don't explore options, because we don't realize that we're humans and we have different levels of energy sometimes, we tend to not do anything. So once we can change our mindsets when it comes to allowing ourselves to be able to have a morning routine, whether we have a lot of energy or not at all, and we actually give ourselves options, we can then actually start to structure a morning routine that really sets us up for the day. Now, if you are somebody who struggles with finding different options and giving yourself options, I really do love the Grow with Jo app. Not only do they provide different workouts and meal plans, they also have this section on their app where it's all about your mental wellness. And you guys know I'm really into mental health and getting your mindset right. And we're gonna be talking about that in today's video. But sometimes it's good to have a tool to allow you to have different options for when you're feeling a certain type of way in the morning. Also, when it comes to time, because I know that not everyone always has like an hour to dedicate towards having this elaborate morning routine. So another thing that I realized when I first got obsessed with morning routines back in the day was the fact that my morning routine actually started at night. There'd be so many times where I had things set in place in the morning that I was unable to do because I was so tired. I didn't get proper sleep, and in turn, I had no energy to do the things that I was trying to do. So it's gonna be so important that you actually get somewhat of good quality sleep so that you can wake up in the morning and do the things that you want. So depending on the things that I'm thinking about or the things that I'm stressed about will depend on what it is that I choose to use to help me fall asleep. So I really like sleep meditations where they're counting down so that it can honestly just get me outside of my thoughts that I'm thinking. And I usually tend to fall asleep pretty easily. The Grow with Jo app also has a lot of counting down meditation, sleep meditations. I sometimes like to listen to healing affirmations, kind of just to reprogram my subconscious mind if I'm really working through something like a limiting belief or just a negative story, or I'm going through like low self-worth, I'm not really having the best, most positive thoughts. And hearing other people speak out positive affirmations, healing affirmations, literally just calms me down. It's like, you know, back in the day when you'd be like scared as a child and you go into your mom or your dad's room and they just tell you everything is gonna be okay and they just talk to you. Like that's how I look at sleep affirmation. Now, sometimes when I find my nervous system is really shot, like very, very stressed to the point where I can feel it physically. Let's say maybe I had caffeine way too late, or I did a really late workout, or something really triggered me during the day. Sometimes I really like to do something for my nervous system. So breath work can be very, very beneficial for you to like breathe in, doing certain different counts, and then breathing out. Now, the Grow with Jo app has all of those options, which is amazing if you are not somebody who wants to just like search up a bunch of random ones. They literally have all of them and they're so good. And even the breath work, you can literally time it for however long you want. So if you only want like a minute or two, when you're starting out, sometimes it's good to just pick only just a few minutes, because sometimes what happens if you're really new to that kind of stuff is after like 2 minutes, your mind just goes back into whatever you're stressing about because you can't focus. So training yourself and doing these things very slowly can help. Even when it comes to the meditations or the affirmations, you don't have to be playing it all night. You can just play it for, again, like 5-10 minutes. Train yourself to calm down your nervous system, calm down your mind, which in change will help you in the morning when you're trying to do other things for your morning routine. Now, getting proper sleep definitely helps prime you to wake up in the morning with a right mind frame. But I do think that it's very important that when you start to open your eyes, you are working on that mind frame, right? Because your mind really is going to dictate all the other things that follow. You are thinking negative thoughts if you are stressing, if you are really anxious, if you're super tired, if you're just like not excited for life. It's not that you don't take action, and it's not like you can't, because not every single day is going to be perfect and you don't need to be, but every single day when you're waking up in that energy, like it's no wonder that you struggle with getting up and going to the gym or taking care of yourself or having positive thoughts that will allow you to continue to take even more action in a more positive direction, which brings more opportunities and more things that you actually want in your life. So it's so important that literally the moment we are waking up, we have things put in place so that we can continue to move on. Now, recently I have been keeping my phone in my living room because I don't need to set an alarm because I wake up naturally very, very early. When I do have certain things that I need to make sure I'm setting my alarm for, and I did this a lot when I was in college, I did this a lot when I was working 3 jobs, like I had to, was I would make sure to set my alarm with a song that was going to make me feel like such in a good mood. Like there is nothing worse than waking up to that crappy alarm that literally scares the crap out of all of us. And I think that's just one way without you even having to try to do anything to help you get into a mood. So when you are setting your alarm, make sure it's a song that you really like and that's gonna get you in the mood for the day. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and I also have my playlist, which I will link down below if you're interested in any songs. If you like, you know, you don't really know what songs to put on and you need some sort of like inspiration, then I got you. Now, something that I do when I actually wake up though is I make sure that I start playing something that is going to get my thoughts in the direction that I want them to go. Because, you know, naturally, especially when you're trying to reprogram your mind or you're trying to think better thoughts, you're gonna just go to what you've always been looping on all of your life. So it's good to have different positive voices or affirmations playing to get you to, again, where you want to be in your life. So whether that be some sort of guided meditation, so you could be sitting in your bed and doing this guided meditation, or you could be playing like healing affirmations as you're making your bed and actually getting up, because I know some people don't want to actually sit down and meditate. And again, depending on the time that you have, depending on your energy, sometimes I'm so tired that I can't, if I try and sit down and meditate, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fall asleep. Like if I try to do that this morning, I would be asleep, okay? So again, giving yourself options. The Grow with Jo app, again, has such good morning guided meditations, but they also have healing affirmations that you can literally just play as you're making your bed. They also have a podcast section, and I think that this is good for people who have analytical minds, because you know what, and this is me sometimes too, and this depends on my phase for sure during my cycle, but sometimes I don't want to have a slow morning and I have a lot of energy and I'm really like ready to get it, and I like to listen to people speak about a certain topic, whether that be teaching me, if we're talking about health and fitness or reframing my mind. If I can just hear other people speak, I love that. So they also have a podcast on the app as well. If you're in a phase right now where you're like, nah, I don't need the slow morning, I need somebody to like get me motivated and inspired. Now, when I am on a journey of really reprogramming my mind, which I'm usually always doing because I have so many aspects in my life that I'm wanting to level up, I'm wanting to grow, I'm wanting to evolve. So I like to tap into certain parts of my mental state and have some sort of mental clarity practice. Now, I love to journal what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, if I'm anxious about something. But after I kind of get all of that out, the mental stress sometimes, if I have any, what I like to do is to connect to myself and to get in this energy of sort of like my higher self. So what is my highest self feeling today? Thinking about herself. How does she perceive herself? What does she believe about the world? What is she excited to have in her life? What does she believe and know that she is going to get? What does she know that is coming to her? These are things that are very natural to me, and I've been doing this for so many years that I'm able to really start writing from the end in a way, and writing from my higher self and getting those answers. But sometimes I know it can be a little bit difficult for people, and people ask me all the time, like, what do I journal? Or like, how do I get my mind right? And or some people are not spiritual and they have some sort of religion, or they believe in God. And so my tip for you, if you really struggle with that, is you can get guided by other people. You don't have to have all the answers. And honestly, it does take a long time for you to really have this practice and develop your own voice within inside of yourself before you're really able to maybe even do that. So there's many times where I've listened to people who are able to speak from that higher power in a way to get me where I need to be focused. On top of that, like I've been saying, there's gonna be some times where you just don't have time to sit there and connect with yourself and sit and journal. And I remember the times when I was working 3 jobs, and or I remember when I used to always be driving to college like very early. I just like didn't have that much time. I would love to play different audio recordings to get me in this energy of some sort of higher power, or for me it's more spirituality. Now the Grow with Jo app, they actually have different devotionals as well as scriptures, so I find that that can be something very useful to be playing when you are trying to create some more mental clarity in your life. But again, it can also just be people you really are motivated by or inspired by. And like I talked about this in one of my podcast episodes about this idea of like romanticizing your life and creating a life that you love to live. Who you listen to and what you do and how you do it is gonna be so unique to you, and you need to just allow that. Go in the direction that feels the best to you. If listening to a daily devotional sounds amazing and it gets you going to where you need to go, then amazing. If you listen to a certain podcaster that you love, if it's just simply a song that you love, listen to it. If you're in a period of life right now that you're journaling, then do it. Having a morning routine that works for you is really having a morning routine that you feel good in, that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel excited about life, that takes care of you the way that you need. And sometimes again, we think, okay, well, I should be waking up and having like this much water and having this intense workout or having this type of meal or journaling or not being on my phone for an hour. And those are all amazing things. But again, what works for you? Maybe it's these small little steps, like in the morning, you're changing your alarm, or in the morning, you're doing 3-minute breath work, or you're listening to one small devotional, or you're even taking one of Jo's classes where she talks about empowering yourself and how to feel more empowered in your day-to-day life. Whatever makes you feel the best, you have to start doing it. I was so miserable trying to create morning routines and doing all of these things that just didn't work for me. And on top of that, creating more self-hate and more like punishment towards myself because I wasn't able to follow through with all of these things on my list because I had different energies sometimes. I wasn't getting the proper sleep. I was listening to things that weren't actually really getting my mind right, or I was doing workouts that I did not enjoy. Having any sort of morning routine not only is good enough, but also it is setting you up so that you can stick to healthier habits like eating better and working out. It can help you show up better in your relationships, in your friendships. It can help you feel more mental clarity so you're not stressing and going into old thoughts or limiting beliefs to the point where it's literally taking you out of the present. And bringing it back to committing to having one, this is going to allow you to start being able to commit to more things in your life. When we want things in our lives, we really do have to commit to having that. But sometimes it's hard for us to commit and hard for us to be consistent because we expect ourselves to show up 1000% all of the time. So when you are creating your morning routine, base it off of your energy. Incorporate things that actually feel good to you. Don't judge yourself for the days that you don't have all of the energy in the world. Switch up the practices. You don't have to do journaling every single morning. You don't have to do the same workout every single morning. You don't have to listen to the same devotional every single morning. And thinking about the fact that it's going to be summer now, my morning routines completely change in the summer because I'm able to get up and go out on my balcony and start journaling. Or maybe I've been listening to so many podcasts in the morning during the winter that I no longer want to be in my analytical brain, so I want to listen to something that's more like healing and calming and positive affirmations. Instead of working out in the gym and following the program that I've been following forever, I want to start a new program, like the Grow with Jo workouts. Challenging myself, going outside, having hot girl walks, doing my workouts outside. And remind yourself, doing something small every day for your morning routine, whether that literally just be setting your alarm and that's all you can do in the morning and it's just a good song and you wake up and you make your bed and then you go on with your day, that will be better than you doing nothing at all for like 4 to 5 days out of the week because you've literally put a million things on your plate that you're only able to do like 3 days of consistent, strict morning routines, and then all the other days, not only do you feel like crap, but you just didn't do anything. And again, if you need a resource to help you when it comes to curating a morning routine that works well for you, trying out different things, different practices, then I really suggest that you check out and download the Grow with Jo app. It is honestly so freaking good. I've tried many apps before, guys, and she has done such a good job with programming this app when it comes to workouts and meal plans and meal ideas, recipes, to the point where you can personalize these things so good. But on top of that, all the mental health components of this app, which in my opinion is one of the most important foundational things that you could be working on when it comes to bettering your life. If we're gonna talk about aesthetics, I do think that they did a really good job at creating a beautiful looking app. So if you wanna download the app, you can click the link in my description, and that will allow you to get money off your order as well. Thank you so much, Grow with Jo, for sponsoring today's video. And let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want me to touch on, if you want me to show. I can actually show you guys some of the morning routines that I've created over the years, depending on the season, depending on how I'm feeling, also depending on which phase of my cycle that I'm in, because it definitely depends. Like this morning, I didn't do much, but I made sure to do something because I know how important it is for me to start my morning off very well. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.